breathing now. One more can change the response by which he's bound.
It's time to set our intentions, set our self-care, and find our focus. This is Mindful Mondays with Saharah Ali on KBLA Talk 1580.
And as always, it's a pleasure and an honor to start the week with meditation instructor. We have our personal meditation instructor. She's an astrologer, numerologist, a sound healer, sound bath specialist, and a life coach. Of course, she's a yoga teacher as well. Saharah Ali with Mindful Mondays. Good morning, Saharah.
Good morning, Dominique, and good morning, KBLA family. Welcome to Mindful Monday, where we get our minds right for the week by setting positive intentions, honoring our mind and body through meditation, prayer, and affirmation as we step unapologetically into our week, being on purpose with our faith, truth, wisdom, and power. Today, I'd like to unpack the planet Pluto in Aquarius, a.k.a. the Lord of the Underworld on steroids, giving us the energy of birth, death, and regeneration now in retrograde until October 13th, deepening our insight and wisdom, asking us to level up our faith, honoring intuition, facing our shadow self with courage, unlocking infinite possibilities, reassessing our beliefs and values, letting go of the messiness in our lives. Pluto's transformative energy doesn't just shake our foundation, it invites us to rebuild them, clearing and being more aligned with our true purpose. This retrograde period is not a time to shy away from the darkest corner of our existence, but rather to illuminate them with courage and honesty. Courage and honesty as we navigate these celestial shifts, find opportunities to embrace new beginnings, releasing what no longer serves our highest good. All retrogrades come with challenges, but are ripe with potential to. That is right. I need to sneeze, but I'm sorry. All retrogrades come with challenges, but are ripe with potential for profound breakthroughs, both personally and collectively. As we lean into Pluto and Aquarius transformative retrograde, consider how this energy will reverberate through our shared humanity. It calls on us to mend broken connections, challenge outdated social norms, and envision a world rooted in equality, compassion, and understand this celestial event is not just a personal awakening. It represents a collective invitation to evolve together. I will repeat that. This Pluto in Aquarius retrograde invites us to evolve together. We benefit by embracing the revelation of all clandestine matters being revealed and not blacking down, standing for truth. Most of all, being unapologetic, standing strong in our convictions of change and progress in all aspects of our lives. So going forward today with our Mindful Monday meditation, let's unapologetically lean into nourishing our minds, body, and souls with our spirits, deepening our roots, trusting infinite possibility. So close your eyes, take a breath, and embrace stillness for this moment, leaning into gratitude and our mindfulness for guidance. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and exhale. Center your thoughts and focus on relaxation. Breathe and let go. Feeling undisturbed and comfortable, uncross your arms and legs, surrender your body and breathe freely, letting go, connecting to the world behind your eyes, connecting for clarity and truth. Take a slow, deep breath, inhaling, giving yourself permission to relax, opening to divine guidance. Exhale, trusting the unfoldment of your highest good. And as you focus on your breath, moving in and out of your body, bring clarity and relaxation, release and let go. Release resistance as you breathe, release expectations as you breathe, and stay present. Stay present, finding your wholeness in your light. Breathe, embracing self-love and taking your power back from the past and anything blocking your future. breathe, relax, be in present time, deepening your roots, trusting infinite possibility. Relax and breathe slowly, nourishing your soul, your mind, your body with each breath, and opening to your spirit with each breath. Slowly release and let go. Allow yourself to be centered and grounded, and upload this new frequency aiding transformation. And now take the biggest breath that you've had all morning and bring your awareness back to the room or back to where you are, open and ready to trust wisdom unfolding your life through divine right action. Just breathe, trusting divine right action, supporting our Mindful Monday affirmation. And now take a big breath and hold it. And as you hold the breath, open your heart and mind. And as you exhale, listen with love and compassion to our Mindful Monday affirmation for the week. Today, I acknowledge the past, embracing wisdom and truth, ready to live in present time, opening to change, celebrating self-love. Today, I acknowledge the past, embracing wisdom and truth, ready to live in present time, opening to change, celebrating self-love. Remember, self-love is so important. And as we step into this week, let that love carry us forward in transformation with this Pluto retrograde. And know that it's a reminder that even though amidst uncertainty, we have the power to rebuild, reimagine, and redefine our paths. The courage to embrace change and to confront our shadow and to seek out our own truth as a testament to resilience. Truth comes from within, blossoming in the stillness where our hearts and minds find harmony. And as we move forward, let us cherish the profound lesson that arises over the next 6 months, using Pluto retrograde as an energy of and a stepping stone towards fulfillment and enlightenment, celebrating our Mindful Monday. Have a beautiful day.
Saharah, does that mean Pluto is in retrograde for the next 6 months? Is that what you're telling us?
Yes, for the
I see
next
how you
6
slid
months.
that one in there.
Yeah, for the next 6 months, which is great because all retrograde planets and especially Pluto is a reminder that change is both inevitable and transformative. And it's time to elevate our inner truth, to shift through the complexities of our emotions, and to lean into lessons rising from adversity. And just know, transformations begin in the unseen world and the world behind our eyes. And that's why our Mindful Monday meditation is important. And it also deepens our hearts and minds and plant seeds that take root to transform all of this chaotic madness that we're dealing with. This transit invites us to confront what's beneath, to embrace the truth of self-discovery, and to renew our vision, embracing our life's journey ahead. And all retrograde slow the rhythm of life, and they grant us an opportunity to pause, to listen, and to align with the wisdom that whispers in stillness. So, what's done in the dark comes to the light, and it brings a reflection and rejuvenation, aligning us to trust ourselves, not the illusion that's in front of us.
Yeah.
So don't be scared of the retrograde.
It sounds like this Pluto retrograde is like a what's really going on, snatch back your power kind of moment. But it's not a moment. It's 6 months.
Yeah, and that's good because, how many months has it taken us to be here? How many months has it taken us to wake up and be desensitized and proactive about what's not right? We're talking. So we talk, it's a process. We think about something, we talk about something, or we talk about something, and we think about something, and finally we do something about it.
Well. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the White House. But I will say that
Oh, yeah,
it's going to be it's going to be real interesting next 6 months, I think. But also, just quickly, I was talking with Lamika Castillo about staying encouraged, and you and I have talked about this a lot. But since you're our encourager in chief, our focus on what you want, not what you don't want in chief of first things first. I just, you know, you always say focus on what you want, not what you don't want. You managed to talk about transits, various retrogrades that other people have doom and gloom about as opportunities, and show us the way to look inside and find, the gift in something that could be seemingly scary. So I guess the question, because, everyone says, well, take a break from the news, but I can't. It's my job. And some of us are fixated to it like deers in the headlights. We're fixated on watching the Trump train wreck. So how do you suggest to your clients and friends, and I am one of those clients and friends, but so I may know some of the answers, but share at least a nugget of how you help people to stay positive and stay in the light in what appears to be a very, very dark time.
First of all, as we think, so shall it be. And what I've been sharing with all of my clients, think about what you want, not what you don't want, because we're in this mess because we focused on what we didn't want, even though we took an action towards what we didn't want. We kept talking about what we didn't want as opposed to really putting in the work of honoring that by shutting our mouths. Words have things, words are actions, thoughts are things. As you think, so shall it be. So think about what you want, not what you don't want. And so the focus is now, and the gift with all of this, and who that person or whatever that thing is in the White House is just a reflection of the shadow of our laziness and our inability to stand in our power and really honor our truth. This is like a sneaking up from behind and an okey-doke punch, which is unnecessary if we are vigilant with what we believe and what we stand for, and most of all, honoring ourselves. When Saturn was in Aquarius, we saw everything change. And we had George Floyd, we got the birth of Black Lives Matter, we got a lot of beautiful things honoring the wholeness within us. And so this Pluto is all of that on steroids. And just like when you make coffee and you put coffee in the machine, the real coffee, and you get grinds at the bottom. And so sometimes you have to sift that out. And so what we are seeing is the bottom grind that needs to be shifted. And we shift our consciousness to strain that out of our being, to strain the doubt and the fear and the frustration and the helplessness. We gave our power away. And as a collective, we can take our power back, because this person has a mental illness and we are sane. And what happens to sane people when they deal with people with mental illness, at some point, we have to know our truth and our purpose and be the healer, not the victim.
Yeah. Well, being the healer is an opportunity to also feel better always. Saharah Ali,
But the
thank
goal
you.
is remember your purpose. Remember who you are. Remember what you stand for. No matter the illusion of trying to erase something, you have to know the shoulders you stand on, because the ancestors are awake. Don't think that we are alone. Get prayed up. Stay focused. Be on your purpose. Find your truth. What to say? Heal self, heal another. Let's all heal each other.
I mean, to me, it's like a breakup. When you break up, you can either go hit the gym, get your life together, drink your water, eat your vegetables, or you can decide you want to sit there and eat candy all day and watch soap operas and wallow, smoke weed, drink, feel worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And so, I mean, not that we're breaking up with Trump, but the point is you when you're in what you consider to be a dark time or a hard time, you got two options: level up or wallow. And it sounds like you're saying level up, wallow, don't wallow, get prayed up and focus on purpose.
And keep your eyes single on the end game.
Yeah.
That's what happened. We forgot the end game.
Right.
We got caught up. So get uncaught up and get focused.
Get uncaught up and get focused. Saharah Ali.
Level up.
Level up. Thank you for that. We're about to start rapping over here.
Level up with some prayer. Level up with consciousness. Level up with reality. Level up with truth. And keep that person's name out your mouth and bring in what you want, not what you don't want. Words are things.
You can find out what's going on with Saharah at SaharahAli.com. It's SaharAh, Ali, A-L-I, SaharahAli.com. You can also call for an appointment. You can call Elise if you want a reading, a astrological, numerological, maybe sound bath or sound healing. Call Elise at 213-628-9783, 213-628-9783. Saharah Ali, thank you.
Thank you, Dominique. Have a blessed week. And KBLA listeners, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Time to call me 800-920-1580. We're unapologetically jacked in. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. With so many shows on our station weekdays and weekends, it's hard for me to keep track of all the guests who are actually in studio on any given day. I wish I'd known in advance that LADA Nathan Hochman was coming in studio for a recent interview. Had I known, I would have loved to have personally greeted him and then asked him why LA City Council member Curran Price is being criminally prosecuted for allegations of misconduct similar to the conflict of interest violations for which former City Council member Kevin De Leon is only being fined. What's that about, Mr. DA? In fairness to Mr. Hochman, it was former DA George Gascon who actually filed felony charges against Councilman Price. I opined then on how these criminal charges against Price did not pass the smell test. I was concerned then that this was yet another wayward prosecution of a high-profile black elected, not to mention a waste of taxpayer money. I am even more convinced now that this is a hot mess. To be clear, neither you or I want a bunch of self-serving, greedy, conflict of interest criminals managing the people's business inside LA City Hall. But we also don't want selective or targeted prosecution of black politicians. We've seen that movie before, and we don't need a sequel. It's hard to watch Kevin De Leon get away with paying an $18,000 fine for repeated ethics violations, what he calls an oversight, and at the same time, watch the DA's office continue its criminal prosecution of Curran Price for issues allegedly involving his wife's clients. Motions, I might add, that were passed unanimously by the LA City Councilman. What are you saying, Tavis? I'm glad you asked. DA Hochman did not start this inquisition, but he certainly has the power to stop it. I have said it before, and I will say it again. Fundamental fairness. In the absence of fundamental fairness, we experience a cascade of deteriorating conditions. The erosion of trust, the weakening of social cohesion, alienation, marginalization, the legitimacy of authority diminishes, cynicism and disengagement grow, and ultimately, people abandon civic participation altogether. Fundamental fairness, Mr. Hochman, that's all we ask. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Well, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
KBLA Talk 1580 and the California Black Chamber of Commerce invite you to the Small Business Development Workshop, How to Do Business with California Government, on Thursday, May 15th at Victory Park in Pasadena, 2575 Paloma Street. Get certified and register as a new bidder. Sell products and services to the state. Learn about pre-bid events and more, and it's all free. All you have to do is sign up at www.calbcc.org. That's www.calbcc.org. Registration for the Small Business Development Workshop, How to Do Business with California Government, begins at 9 a.m. and the workshop concludes at 1 p.m. on Thursday, May 15th at Victory Park in Pasadena, 2575 Paloma Street. This is a community call to action from the California Black Chamber of Commerce and KBLA Talk 1580. The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
And you're invited in, 800-920-1580. As usual, we got a lot to talk about, like pretty much the whole world and your world. So 800-920-1580 is your way in. Or you can go to YouTube, KBLA 1580, and we will be having a conversation in the comments like we always do. Let's go to Charles calling from L.A. Good morning, Charles.
Hey, good morning, Dominique. Charles from 1-800 Unite Us. And,
why? What a pleasure. It's been a minute, Charles.
It's been a while. Well, you know, we've talked about the N-word. I don't use it out of respect. My great-great-grandfather fought in the Civil War to end slavery, and that's how the word got started.
I never knew that about you, Charles. You got an ancestor that you verifiably know fought in the Civil War. That's some stuff right there.
Oh, yeah.
Let's thank Grandpa for his service. Do we know his name?
Hutchinson Miller.
Hutchinson Miller. I love that.
Yeah, I even saw found his grave marking on the internet.
Wow, That's amazing history, Charles.
Yeah, he was a free black man and had a wife and 2 daughters, and he volunteered to fight in the Civil War to end slavery. And, if you know the history, that's where the N-word started. They were trained, the slaves were trained to call each other that. And I hate to see black people continue to use that word.
Yes, I know you do. You know, when I was in Washington, D.C., there's a tiny little museum called the African American Civil War Museum. And it's nothing but pictures of the black soldiers, photographic evidence of those black soldiers and paintings and things. It's a really powerful place.
Wow, I have to check that out.
Tiny little hole in the wall museum. I don't even know why we went there, but we did.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that.
So no N-word for you. I know that. You're mad at hip hop and you don't like the N-word. I know that.
I'm mad at that. Yeah, because those people that promote that word, they're not even black. The corporate execs.
Right.
But have you heard about Shiloh Hendrix, this woman that called a 5-year-old black child?
Of course. And then she called this autistic child, the N-word, and then raised $500,000 on some Christian GoFundMe site to quote unquote defend her family.
Up to $600,000 now, and it only took 2 days for her to raise that kind of money. So what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, what do I think? White supremacy, the system of white supremacy, as Molly Bell reminds us, is alive and well in this country. We are not post-racial, and in fact, we're seeing a resurgence. That's why I call this Republican Party the new Confederates, Charles.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now, one thing I disagree with is the term white supremacy. White people love that word. You never hear a white person complain about being called a white supremacist.
Well, she says that's why she reminds us to say the system of white supremacy. I call it the delusion of white supremacy.
I call it white racism. They hate being called racist. It's like the thing that they invented. That's one thing they invented that they deny inventing.
That is so true. What? I'm not a racist. Every racist I know says I'm not a racist.
Yeah.
Remember when King Charles of England said that? I'm not a racist. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll put you on the list of all the other racists who said they weren't a racist.
That's true. And then I look at the psychological thing to our children. They're growing up hearing the word white supremacist, where supreme is supposed to be a good thing. That's where the
Well, the theory is they think they're white, they think they're supreme, and they think they're white. In fact, they're neither. But that's why I call it the delusion. But I understand what you're saying. Many people don't like that term now.
They say they hear that, and then they hear the N word 100 times a day. You know, so what's the message for our children growing up? So I that's why I say let's not use either term. Don't use the N word and don't use white supremacists.
I'm sorry, my N word. You know what, Charles? I'm not gonna lie. I use it sometimes. Maybe not that infrequently either.
Yeah, but the fact that this woman made that kind of money should really wake up a lot of black people that aren't woke up yet.
Right, and the child, this is an autistic child, a child who has autism, and she was over here threatening him, and he's not the one raising money. That's crazy. We got news, traffic, and sports. If you want to stay with me, you're welcome. If you want to do like Charles and call me, you're welcome. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. New York Democratic Senators Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand are urging Republicans to fully fund the 9/11 health program after 16 more layoffs.
This is not a never forget. This is just, we're screwing the World Trade Center victims. We don't care about them. This is not how we treat our 9/11 heroes.
They're warning the cuts threaten care for over 137,000 responders and survivors. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has rejected former President Trump's offer to send U.S. troops to fight drug cartels, citing national sovereignty. She confirmed the reports and emphasized that while cooperation is welcome, U.S. military presence in Mexico is not. And it's the end of an era as Skype is shutting down today after 2 decades. Microsoft is retiring the video calling and messaging platform as it redirects users to Teams. Skype users can move their accounts to the Teams app. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Uh-oh. She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
Is this the takeover? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man. With the Lakers and Clippers out of the NBA playoffs, NBA fans in LA will have to decide on who to root for. The Golden State Warriors might be at the top of the list. Golden State won Game 7 in Houston on Sunday to advance to the Western Conference semifinals. Golden State is at Minnesota Tuesday for Game 1 of a best-of-7 series. After eliminating the Clippers Saturday, the Denver Nuggets are at Oklahoma City tonight for Game 1. In the Eastern Conference, New York is at Boston tonight for Game 1. Indiana has a 1-0 lead over Cleveland, the top seed in the East. Game 2 is Tuesday. Congratulations to Jackson State University baseball coach Omar Johnson. Johnson earned his 600th career win Sunday with Jackson State's 5-0 victory over Mississippi Valley State. Johnson, in his 16th season at Jackson State, has led the HBCU program to 2 SWAC championships and 30 or more wins in 14 seasons. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
I feel so alone.
I'm embarrassed to talk about it.
How can I help my kid if I can't help myself?
I can't remember when I wasn't stressed.
I don't like it inside.
When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts and emotions, it's okay to get help. You are not alone. CalHope is here for you with free, safe, and confidential mental health resources for youth, young adults, families, and you. Find support now at calhope.org.
Only Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
It's me, Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. I see those dry elbows, baby. But don't worry, get moisturized right in the shower. So hydrated you can skip the lotion after.
Don't wanna see it dry no more. Skin so moisturized with body wash.
Look at you now, No more dry skin. Your skin gets the moisture it craves with
Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
If you missed our KBLA Talk 1580 Town Hall, the Altadena Eden Fire, 100 Days and Counting, you missed an evening of reverence, reflection, and reality.
You gotta live in the reality because this is it. Every day, you wake up, is this my life? Don't stay in denial because yes, it is. Don't stay in bargaining where you're praying for a miracle and if it wouldn't have happened, then this is what I would have done. It did.
Our panel participants kept it real. Really real.
I think, number one, it's amazing to me how we ignore systemic racism in our community, and as a people, we've apologized for so much, but when will we stop apologizing for what we have paid for? Because the truth of the matter is we paid for this.
You can always count on KBLA Talk 1580 to give it to you straight, no chaser. When you love folk, you tell them the truth. Seeking the truth, speaking the truth. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we don't black down. This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
Yeah, so to your point about this Shiloh Hendrix woman, she's a blonde mom lady who's on video calling this little kid, he's 5, calling him the N-word because she claims he was trying to rifle through her bag. Now, now the NAACP has started a fundraiser for him. But the fact that you would call a child the N-word repeatedly and then call the person filming you the N-word, and then your idea of what to do next is get people to give you money, it's really baffling to me. I mean, you talk about the idea of character, what it means to be a person of character, what it means to be a mom, right? This Mother's Day week. You're publicly attacking a child of 5. I don't care what he or she did. And now we find out he did nothing. But so far, the fundraiser for the child has raised almost nothing. Meanwhile, this woman is at $640,000. She set a goal of $1 million. Okay, so the child's is up. I guess he had a goal of $150,000 and it's up to $300,000. So it is doing better, but still, she's at double him and she attacked him. Who attacks a child and doesn't feel like they need to run and hide and hang their head in shame and apologize to everybody in the world? You're caught on tape looking like a monster. You're verbally abusing a child of 5 who has a disability. What does that say not just about Shiloh Hendrix's character? I mean, she looks demonic on this. It's a pretty blonde woman who looks like a demon. But the fact that she thinks, oh, well, I should do a fundraiser for me. I should get $1 million for abusing a child because I have to relocate my family. Well, let me tell you something. The internet is undefeated, Miss Shiloh. You move wherever you want to with your $1 million in ill-gotten gains. The internet gonna find you. You don't even have to be doxxed. We're all doxxed now. Everybody knows where everybody is if they want to. And when you do something terrible like that, newsflash, they want to. Also, they're having a town hall around this. The NAACP is having, they had a town hall. I guess they're planning another one on May 7th from 4 to 5:30 at the Rochester Civic Theater in collaboration with the Barbershop Talk Services. So our community is also mobilizing, but these white racists, as Charles would call them, the people practicing the system of white supremacy, as Neely Fuller and Molly Bell would say, the folks suffering from the delusion of white supremacy, as I would say, clearly they are doing what they do. They haven't changed what they do. The fact that this woman thinks that she's a hero and a victim, that's the part. That's the part. That's the part that shows what needs to be healed about America. Let's go to Jeanette calling us from Inglewood. Good morning, Queen.
Good morning, Dominique. I want to thank you so much for taking my last call. So, and
Why is
speaking
it
of
your
the
last call? Like your final call?
Yeah, my last call to you, because I've been taking every Mondays off, and at work when I called you, it's too noisy. So I'm at home, and so this will be the last one.
Oh, we'll
And-
miss you.
Well, thank you for that. And the reason why I also said that is because it seems like I haven't heard from the original Fred in a while, and I'm just hoping that.
Oh, yeah, Fred from the Crenshaw district. Yeah, yeah, we're looking for you, Fred. Your KBLA family looking for you.
And then the next thing I wanted to say was I do a lot of praying and confessing, and I see part of my prayer being answered regarding Elon Musk. The hole that he dug for the Americans, he fell into it himself, because since the beginning of this year, he's lost money. His stock has fell. He lost his job at Doge last week, and he might be losing his position at Tesla. So he didn't do so good either, and I just thank God for the word working. But he's also building this city in Texas, and
Named after his company.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
But I want to know who's going to do the building. The ones that he deported, or who?
Yeah, well, that's the child labor. That's what they're teeing up. You know, Republicans are getting rid of child labor restrictions all across the country. That's what they want to put Black and Latino citizen children to work. That's what I think. And of course, they'll keep undocumented folks and just not tell you about it while they continue to raid everybody. But to your point, yes, Tesla's stock has plummeted. Car sales have plummeted. You can't sell one or turn it in because no one wants to buy them. But he hasn't really lost his job at Doge. He's leaving, but the president assures us he will still be an advisor. He'll still have the president's ear.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
What I'm saying about that is his presence. He loves the spotlight and all of that, and he loved, cutting the jobs and all those things. So he fell in that same hole, is what I'm trying to say as well.
Yeah.
He's lost a lot.
And to be honest with you, I think his falling into that hole is just beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a whole hissy fit last week because they're saying that he's going to be replaced at Tesla, and he says that's not true, but we'll see. Corporate takeovers, hostile and otherwise, are real. So he's not immune to that. And if you're making your company sink into the toilet financially, there's no guarantee you hold on to that job. You look at the CEO of Target, he had his bonuses and compensation slash. He decided to get rid of DEI, and we decided to get rid of Target. And that's costing him money. It's costing the company money. I know racism is real. I know white racism and the delusion of white supremacy is real. And I know that many times, Jeanette, they'll defy their own best interest. That's why it's such a powerful hatred. The fact that sometimes they choose race over money. But I don't think on a big scale, I don't think on a large scale, capitalists are going to continue to choose race over money. Target's not going to continue to let their stock slide, and I don't think Tesla will either.
I agree. And with that, I say this. We the people, we American citizens, we win. I will continue to confess that. We win.
I love the way you said that. We win. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dominique. It has been a blessing talking to you every week.
Oh, well, I can't wait till your next vacation, because whenever you get on vacation, you call us, and that is a blessing in itself. Yeah. But karma is real, and consequences have actions. They just do. That's what it is. Consequences have actions. Meanwhile, Tesla has settled. Speaking of the money pouring out of Mr. Musk's pockets because of his own racism, white supremacy, whatever you want to call it. So there was a lawsuit from a Tesla, yet another, this is not the first one, yet another lawsuit by a woman. Raina Pierce is her name. She worked at the Tesla factory in Fremont. She sued them back in 2022 because she said, her manager told her, welcome to the plantation, called it the slave house, and called her the N-word. And that was, according to her, that was the normal culture of the factory. Black people were called the N-word. They were given the worst assignments. And we've heard this over and over again from various Tesla employees who have sued. She was working there when she filed, but she's left since. And now they've settled. Those terms are not disclosed. It's a confidential settlement, but she won. Like Jeanette just said, the American people will do. She won. Might have taken 3 years. She was getting the worst assignment. She had to push 2 carts instead of 1 like everybody else, and each cart was actually too heavy for one person. She was tired of being called the N-word. She was tired of black people being assigned to a specific part of the factory floor that they called the plantation, which had the worst jobs. And these are the claims that led to the California State Attorney General filing against Tesla. The Justice Department, which of course has now dropped their claim since Doge has taken over the retaliation against them on behalf of Trump. So good for her. Another we win moment. And hopefully that inspires you. When we fight, we win. We just have to fight. Meanwhile, the board of directors of Tesla has said they are going to be paying more attention to how workers are treated in their factories. They are saying they are going to be looking at trying to change the behavior of management there and how the company treats its employees. Too many lawsuits, and now with this high-profile role for Mr. Musk in the world, their racism and embrace of white supremacy is in the spotlight. The board even wrote a letter to stock market regulators responding to criticism and the lawsuit, the California Civil Rights Department, which sued them for pervasive racial discrimination and harassment. Now, they're denying that they discriminate, but at the same time, the board of directors is saying, we're going to keep a closer eye on this. And that is very, very interesting. They're keeping a closer eye, and they're going to be mindful of equality in the workplace, even while the Trump administration, of which Elon Musk is a part, is advocating an end to DEI and taking an axe to it. Why are they doing that? Because they don't want to keep losing money. For the board of directors to have to address behavior on the factory floor, we got a problem, people. We got a problem. And I'm sure, they see what's happening at Target. They see what's happening in their own bottom line. And they're saying, you know what? Well, don't call it DEI. Call it what you want. We have to address the way that workers are treated in this company. Family, that's a win. It's the perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima. You're the KBLA delegation. You are always welcome here on KBLA Talk 1580.
More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
We've got a lot to talk about. I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach, transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal, prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth.
Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome. We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
We are, and we don't. And as usual, I'm glad that you're here. 800-920-1580 if you want to hop in. I'm really looking forward to the conversation next hour with Tawani Price. She's a woman from Inglewood, California, black woman who has relocated to South Africa and started a new life, a new business. She can tell us. I know some of you are considering becoming expats. Well, she's got a thing or two to say about a thing or two. She also happens to be a wine expert and has started her own extraordinarily successful business there. So we will check in with her. I started out the morning talking about how I finally found something I agree with Donald Trump about, and that is his proposed ridiculously large 100% tariffs on movies made outside the U.S. I think that there may be hidden consequences. As Paul Lee said in the chat, and one producer said in an op-ed yesterday, it could hurt the U.S. film industry because the producers will pass on the price increases to the exhibitors, i.e. the movie theaters, and they will pass them on to us in the form of ticket prices. You know, I would hate to see that happen, and I hate the idea that it would become harder to make movies, but at the same time, let them adjust. Let them find other budget cuts to make. I think that the movie theater business is shaky enough right now. They're basically hanging on by a thread, and that thread is called sinners. Let them make other adjustments, budget cuts, to do what they got to do to make it happen. We need those job opportunities. We need that revenue, especially in LA where I live, but nationwide, right? Let us compete between Atlanta and LA or New Mexico. I guess that's where Netflix just bought their new huge studio, or built from the ground up a new huge studio. Not between us and, Canada. Canada would take a huge hit. And I saw an article today in The Guardian saying that if Trump goes through with these tariffs, and he most of the time doesn't. Mostly they're just threats, although we are dealing with the 10% across the board tariff right now, which is making everything get more expensive. We'll see what he does. But they're saying it can completely wipe out the UK film industry. Now, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Well. These English films are so prestigious. Everybody, loves to hire English actors. And look, I love English actors too, but why can't you put more of y'all in English films? I'm so tired of these black English actors playing black American characters. I get that for some of you that sounds xenophobic, but to me it doesn't. It's logical. If we can't play Harriet Tubman as Black American actors, what can we play? If we can't play Martin Luther King Jr., what can we play? We created those heroes. We are those heroes. Those heroes are us. That is Black America. And yet consistently, Hollywood turns to English. Maybe English actors are more polite. Maybe they're less scary than American Black people. Some of my friends say they're better trained. Maybe some are. Not all of them are. You're telling me you couldn't find a Black American actress to play Whitney Houston? Please. Get out of here with that. Anyway, I digress. I say that to say, if that's going to make your film industry collapse, y'all need to work on your film industry and stop just being parasites on us. How about make some movies about English heroes with English actors and English directors and English doggone stories? Right? Right? My colleague Dion says characters straight out of South Central. If we can't play those characters, Black Americans, we're boycotting ourselves. Hell to the no. And so, as terrible as it sounds, I believe I've found something I agree with Mr. Trump about. Now, the devil's in the details. Oh, here comes Paul. He wants to argue with me. Okay, Paul. You got the mic. Go ahead.
Good morning. Good morning, Dominique. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Paulie. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Anything that comes out of that orange head buffoon's mouth is a lie. And the idea that tariffs, and the way that he's using it, is going to be beneficial to us here is not real. This is a global economy, and you know this, Dominique.
I do. But yet, why is the UK saying our film industry would be destroyed? Why is Canada saying they'd take such a big hit? Because in the global economy, they are taking entertainment dollars out of Los Angeles and Atlanta and New York. That's just a fact. That's what's happening now.
The problem has been this, everybody. We can just do the recent times within the last 25 years. The problem that's happening is whenever when they make money, they privatize the gains. Yeah. When they lose money, they socialize the losses. What happened during COVID? It was not about, because his administration was in office, it wasn't predominantly about saving lives. It was about saving Wall Street. So our tax dollars went to Wall Street. Yeah. What happened recently with the Silicon Valley banks that were lending irresponsibly? What happened during the housing crash when they were giving subprime mortgages? The government came in both instances and saved them. What happened with the auto industry? What happened with the airline industry multiple times?
I mean, that's the whole too big to fail mantra. We bail out corporations and we let individuals flounder. I understand that, but something has to be done to save our film industry. Los Angeles, and to a large extent, Black culture is being exported to the world, and our communities are not getting the benefits the way that they should. Paul, in the last year, 25% dive in domestic production. That's a problem. And even though I agree the man is the prevaricator-in-chief, doing something to cause shock and awe to these Hollywood studios and force them to bring production home ain't a bad idea.
And they will not do that, Dominique. You know why? Because of the Citizens United situation. They're going to pass. Tariffs are a tax on the consumer. You know this.
I know
all
that.
They're going to do is they're going to increase prices. So I'll tell people, it's basic economics, supply and demand. If people stop spending their money, a hamburger won't be $20 anymore.
Well, nobody's going to the movies. I mean, except to see Sinners, pretty much, and anything Star Wars-y. I mean, so that's not working. I mean, maybe it's bringing ticket prices down. Maybe it's making them invest in Black films, but it's not solving the problem of local domestic production. And that is a big problem.
So here's a prime example in real time. So we know now we have numbers. CBS reported the first 100 days of this administration. Remember all the Doge cuts and all the cuts that Elon, the genius, and all that did?
Yes.
What if I told everybody they actually increased $200 billion prior than the previous administration? So it's not about cost and saving money. The issue to me overall is we're in what you talk about. We're in a Gilded Age. We have the haves and have-nots, and because people they don't spend money on trying to get you to vote. They spend money on depressing the vote.
Yeah, of course.
And so to go back to this conversation that we're having here, Dominique, all that's going to happen is they're going to pass the cost on to other people. Why? Because they're good. Why? Because they get the tax cuts and government spending and tax and subsidies that go their way. That's why they don't trip, because it's not about your dollar. They're going to get the money from our tax dollars.
I feel you, Paul. I feel you. I mean, you definitely have a clear global perspective. But look, if this man is going to do something to bring back domestic production of entertainment, I'm going to applaud that. Now, hopefully it works. But to your point, it probably won't. Always great to talk to you, Paul. Time for news, traffic, and sports. Then we'll be talking with a Black American who's now making her home in South Africa. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. New York Democratic Senators Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand are urging Republicans to fully fund the 9/11 health program after 16 more layoffs.
This is not a never forget. This is just, we're screwing the World Trade Center victims. We don't care about them. This is not how we treat our 9/11 heroes.
They're warning the cuts threaten care for over 137,000 responders and survivors. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has rejected former President Trump's offer to send U.S. troops to fight drug cartels, citing national sovereignty. She confirmed the reports and emphasized that while cooperation is welcome, U.S. military presence in Mexico is not. And it's the end of an era as Skype is shutting down today after 2 decades. Microsoft is retiring the video calling and messaging platform as it redirects users to Teams. Skype on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Joe Buck and